So this is the second to last session here with the leveraging series this time around. The next session will be directly for open Q&A. So it's any questions that you might have on how-tos, whether it is CRM related or website related, lead related, whatever it might be. So some of the hidden tools in your system that some may be aware of and some may not be completely aware of. So one neat tool in here is your ability to actually send your leads automatic emails on specific dates. So like their birthday or a purchase anniversary. So this action can be triggered right on your lead. In the lower part here, we've got your lead data, more details in this sort of section. So when we go into the more details, here, you're going to see that there's a specific option for a purchase anniversary, a wedding anniversary, and the date of birth. Okay, so with the birthday, for example, when you're getting, your FinTrack forms and you're getting that, their ID, you're able to easily take that ID, that birth date that you find on there, and you can indicate in the system when their birthday is. So specifying, obviously the day and the year. So let's just pretend my birthday is tomorrow. The year doesn't really matter, but let's say my birthday is tomorrow on here. Once you've specified the date for this action, all you need to do is click on the little icon, the little present in this case, and then you get to specify what you want to happen. There's going to be that scheduler that is automatically going to go out. So here you do have the option of writing an SMS. So if you guys are using Twilio in this system, you can have it so that on a specific date or that date, but a specific time, that the lead would automatically get an SMS from you. And of course, you can, write it out right here to be very specific to that individual, or you can already, create yourself an SMS template that you might want to use for birthdays that you can easily select to include for that individual. Now, of course, alternate to that, you may want to send them an email. So in here, you can definitely create your email. So whether you want to upload an image, like a happy birthday type image, and write something unique to that individual. Some of you may go into your system and create an email template that is for birthdays. And then you would just select that template, of course. So let's just pretend it was this one. This is happy birthday. It's not a happy birthday, but you can then go ahead and customize it. So it's a great way to keep yourself top of mind while recognizing your leads or your clients on those special dates. For the purchase anniversary, it's also great as well, because again, the closing date of that property. I'm sure some of you do touch base with your past clients on those purchase anniversary dates. Here is just something that you can do it, same idea as the birthday, you can set that up. Now the wedding anniversary is a unique one, because some of us definitely know when our clients got married. If you're working with a newlywed or a couple that is going to get married and you kind of know the dates of the wedding, you can definitely put it in there. Now, what you can use with this as an alternative is using it for the spouse's birthday. Okay, so a lot of people have asked to do this, and I know that there has been requests to be able to do this on the same account, but to the other individuals, so the additional contact, being able to select the additional contact as an option to send these communications out. Currently, that is not an option. So what a workaround could potentially be in this scenario is, let's say my husband's name was Bob. So Crystal and Bob right here. And then what you would do is you would just comma separate their emails. Okay, so it's Crystal and Bob, comma separate, and pretend like, come on, you got to edit the email, comma separate it, whatever Bob's email was. Okay, what ends up happening on this day? So this is where, let's say if you're doing two emails, one for the main person would be the first name kind of thing, because that's the first email you see. And then the second one you can use for the wedding anniversaries for the spouse. What's great about this, even though, because you're creating an email that's saying like, hi, Bob, or hi, Crystal, you're not using a short code, you're manually putting their names in. what ultimately happens is the spouse is actually also seeing that you're recognizing their spouse's birthday, right? So it's not directed to them, but it's like they're included on that email. But the email specifically is, mentioning one person or the other. Maria's asking, how can I show how to customize it? Yes, absolutely. So when you're in here, if you want to create an email, for example, it's just like creating a templated email. So this is SMS. So adding your stuff in there. So if you're customizing, you're just typing whatever it might be. So it could be like, hi, Crystal, happy birthday, right? I'm just going to put like happy birthday. Now, once you're in here, you definitely can upload images, right? So you can upload images this way, where you're uploading something that might be on your computer. I don't have very many images. This is a new computer, so I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, there is some on here. What is this picture? There we go. So I don't even know what this is. So there's obviously something to do with transit on here. You can make this smaller. So when you have an image that you can clearly see when you're developing or creating an email, you can definitely create a div container, but you can see we would have to scroll side to side. When you have an image and you want it to actually just fit the width of the actual email, just click on this option. So this one here is going to upload an image. This one is giving you the image properties. Okay, so in this case, you would just change your dimensions to 100%. Okay, so it's going to take 100% of that screen. And we go like this, you can see now it is now proportioned to that specific, the container that it's in. It's not expanding. I'm not having to scroll side to side. You can add, of course, emojis, emotions in here if you want to, little emojis in there. You cannot include video. So just so you know, you cannot put a video in there. You would have to create that through a GIF. But that's also something if you wanted to create like a personalized birthday message to somebody where you've created like a little video and you link it to a YouTube account, or even on TikTok, if you really wanted to put it out there, where you can hyperlink a GIF. So a GIF is a moving picture. So kind of where I had that GIF example, showing you that in the email. That is a previous session where we went over it. I can definitely show you guys where the tutorial on creating GIF can be found in this system, because it is in here where the tutorial is. So this is essentially how you would, build out your custom email with their names. You're specifying, we're not using short code. And then of course, you have to put a subject in, and of course, in order to save us, let's go happy birthday. So this email is going to actually automatically go out tomorrow at 11 in the morning. I'm going to get a happy birthday email to myself. And then the purchase, or so the wedding anniversary, then again, you would directly put the spouse's name in there. Perfect. Now, does anyone have any questions about that feature so far, other than customizing it? No. Now you can find individuals in here with their birthday. Okay, so if you wanted to just, some of you, in addition to sending an email, you might want to send a card, like a personal handwritten card to these individuals. So you can use your filters to actually find people with their birthdays. So there is a filter, I believe it is called birthday, in here. And so you can specify when the birthday is. So let's say I want everyone on the next 7 days that's celebrating a birthday, and there's the lead there that we have indicated is in the next 7 days. Now, some of you may jump the gun and you might do it monthly, right? So you might check to see whose birthday is all coming up this month, and you can specify your dates, right? So let's say anywhere between January 1st, it won't let me go any past January or July 1st. So let's just use June as an option. Come on. June 1st to June 30th. So it looks like it won't allow you to go to extend to the end of the month for some reason. But if you were looking here, you can put customized dates and things like that. Whether you're planning something or doing something in a specific month and you want to see whose birthday all falls in that specific month. As you may have seen as well, on that previous screen as well, when we had the lead open, is you do have a spot for, in the more details, is a religion. Okay, so the religion, you get to add the religion to your system. So some of us know and directly know certain religions and celebrate specific religious holidays, things like that. You can add your own religions in here. So if you go into your settings and you go to the religions tab, this is where you can add different religions. So if I wanted to, let's just put a Catholic. I can't spell Catholic in there. When we go back to that lead, you're actually going to notice that that will be an option, or any lead, that will be an option to select as part of the religion. Okay, so now if I was going in here and let's say I know this person is a Christian, you can actually find those people as well. So if you were wanting to send out a mass communication on that date to those who celebrate something specific, you can again use your filters and find those people who are or you've indicated that they are a Christian. So you can select and you can multi-select as well. So you can see here that there's three leads that we've indicated that they're a Christian. Okay, so that's something some of you may do with your leads, whether you send it to all of your database or you want to customize emails specific for different religious holidays or what have you. Another thing that you guys can do in here is actually print labels for your leads. So whether it's your past contacts, a lot of you will have and have already uploaded an existing database into your system. I'll show you guys as well how to do that. And then you might want to send out mailers, right? So I know in the past, a lot of people was a struggle. You got to use different systems to be able to print labels, and it can turn into, a little bit of a nightmare sometimes trying to find the right program. So again, when back into that bottom section on your lead, down here, you will have the more details here, and anything you're putting in this section here as far as their address. So I'm just going to put an address in here, street, and let's just say it's Ontario, and we'll just call it whatever city, and you don't have to do country if you don't want to, and let's just go B1V6R6. Okay, that's our address for this specific lead. Okay, now if you are doing this on your leads, okay, where you're adding the address in the system will not recognize who has an address added to them. Okay, so one thing that you may want to do for yourself is also maybe creating a tag, right, where you've got their address in here. So you can add a tag in here. Let's just call it address, for example. That is not what I meant to do. And there we go. Address. I'm just going to use an exclamation mark so I don't have to search for it. And I'm going to go confirm. Once you add a tag in your system, it's going to automatically select it for you. So I'm just going to go done. So in this scenario where let's say you wanted to print labels for a whole bunch of people, maybe it's a holiday, you're sending out cards, you would just select those with that tag, or you can use a filter, right? So you can find all of your individuals that are on or have that specific tag. I always, the safest is the any, if you're just looking for a specific tag on somebody. The all tags is like if I had 3 tags selected. So let's say I had these 3 tags selected. This lead, any lead that populates has to have all 3 of these tags. They can have more than that, but they have to have at least these 3. Now, if you guys are using the does not, that means they cannot have any of these tags. They can have whatever tags on them, but I don't want them to have any of these tags on them. So whether they have one or all of them, they're not going to be included in the list. When you have any selected tags, it means I can have any one of these tags on me, not all of them, but I have to have at least one of them. And I can also have additional tags on the leads as well. So that's where I prefer that one. These selected tags would be, they only can have these tags. They can't have any other tags on them. That's how this one works. And then you also have the has a tag, but does not have a tag. So for example, if I'm looking for, in this scenario where it's like, I want to look up all my first time buyers that do not have a pre-approved tag on them. Okay. Then you can easily pull up all your first time buyers. So I'll just show you in this case that do not have the pre-approved. So this one here needs the pre-approval tag, but not the pre-approved tag. So that's a great way to pull up specific audiences. But kind of getting back here, we're going to try to find that lead for the addresses or the labels nonetheless. So we're just going to go here and I'm just going to use the address to find that individual. Now, this is a mass action that you're performing when you are printing labels. So you would select, one, or you would, if there was like pages of people, you would select all of them, and then you would apply your action. Okay, so when you're printing labels, you're just setting the print labels, and you would specify the type of paper that you're using. Okay, so what type of, I guess it's the Avery address labels that you need to do. When you start printing on labels, it's what position. So as you guys, anyone that's printed labels, there's usually, 3 or 4 rows of labels, right? And sometimes you might have used the first 2 labels in your thing or whatever it might be. So it's like start printing at label and then you position, where exactly. So if you've already used the first one, you would start printing on label 2 kind of thing. This does not automatically print anything, so you don't have to worry about wasting paper that it's going to just print it, and then you get a little bit frustrated. What it's going to do is actually create a PDF for you to print from. So you're going to get a visual of it first. Now, if you want to include a return address on your card, you definitely can. The return address is actually going to be the address that you see for your brokerage, like your address in here. So it's the location of your brokerage that will show in the return. So I'm just going to select it just so you kind of see, and then we're just creating the PDF. So what just happened? I'm in a new system, so I don't know what it just did with that PDF. Let's see if it's down here. Well, isn't that odd? So it will typically do it. I apologize, guys. This is it's a laptop I'm on. It usually would just create it and then download it to your computer so you can view it. Obviously something weird happened. I don't know why. Let's just try it again. Let's just see what happens if I print labels again. This time I'm just going to go create PDF. All right, I'm going to ask your support team what in the world is going on. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's hiding it somewhere on me. It could be going into my Edge, the Edge browser. I'm not too sure. Let's see if I'm able to close this out. It doesn't seem to, because you would think that it would just automatically open it. Yeah, so I'm going to ask the support team because this is the first time I've ever encountered that little buggy behavior. With the labels, it generally just will pop up for you. So I will include an update in the recording tomorrow that you guys will get as to what my findings were. And if I have to recreate like just another example where you can actually see what it's supposed to do, I will definitely do that for you in there. But aside from the printing labels not functioning the way I wanted to, you know, it's Murphy's Law, we're on a recording and everyone's watching. Do you guys have any questions with respect to the printing of the labels, the tagging of the leads, or using those filters to find anyone in here? All right. So importing a database, okay? So importing a database is something that you guys may want to do to use and leverage this system for existing contacts. So how you're actually going to do that is over in your settings, and you do have that import, right? So that lead import on here. Now, again, as you guys are doing this or entering any section of your agent locator CRM system, just keep in mind that you actually have the ability to watch videos. So there is a tutorial in here, but it's actually really quite straightforward. So I'm just going to open up this article just because I know there's a sample CSV. So when you open it, the CSV file that you would need to create, currently my old video is no longer available. This is just the example that you can use, right? So, and these are all the different fields that you can essentially port over. Okay, so, and you want them, you know, separated by column here, right? So putting this stuff in here, you can put whatever you want in there. You know, the birthday, you know, you would put that in the notes. So you're mapping things out. Okay, so you're mapping it all out. In here, I'm going to actually change the email address before I download this, just because it, oh, okay, let's just download it. And it does not matter which I'm downloading it as. So when you are doing an import, and why I want to change this email address is the system will recognize the duplicates based on email addresses. Okay. So now that I think what is going on? This is not, where did it go? Let me just sign into here. This is going to be a lot easier. I'm just waiting for this to open up on my phone. Give me 1 second, guys. This is the wonderful, like Windows 11, I think it is. And the guy said, there's a lot of differences on here. You should probably watch a video, which I did not do. So anyone that is planning on getting that, I would encourage you to maybe watch a video. Because I think, again, I'm probably downloading things and I don't even know where they're going. So this is showing me, that's a safe chat. That's nothing. Sorry, my Google on my phone is just being really oddly slow for some reason. And let's just try to open Excel in here. Let's see if it'll just allow me to do it. There we go. Will it allow me to do it without pushing that button? I accept. Okay. There we go. Okay, here I'm going to just change the name. I'm going to change this to Willy Wonka COMM. Okay. Putting that in there, and I can, you know, it doesn't matter about the name in here. but I am going to save this. Okay, so now as I go through, and I'll just expand this, you're just going to go lead import. So new lead import, and then you're going to browse that file. So it can be, so if you are using like Google, you can do it in the sheets. It does recognize it, just so you know. And then you're just going to browse it. I'm going to find where that it is, that example import sheet. I'm going to open it. So it is verified, and then it's going to tell you, what to do next. So here is just where you are mapping the information. So, the first name failed. We're showing here, it's like Willie. So here it's obviously going to go into the first name spot. The last name is obviously going to go into the last name spot. The phone into the phone number. You don't have to put the home phone if you you don't want to, but you can. If it'll go down into the bottom of the leads profile in the CRM system. Same with the work phone there. I'm just going to leave that one out. I am going to put the email address there. You can indicate if there's a specific lead type that you want these leads to come in as. You don't have to do that. You can also change like the source, right? So if this case, the source of a lead, if you have that mapped on your column, you can automatically have it so that source is automatically assigned to that lead. So they're not coming in as an empty source. So that if this is a database that you've collected over time, they could have been coming from all different places, right? Door knocking, open houses, your sphere, past client, whatever it might be. So then you can easily identify who these people are. You can specify their rating if they want to. So in the notes section, putting in when their birthdays and anything about that. So this is where you'd want to put it in the notes. So when it imports anything specific in here, the description is going to be that little box that's right below their contact information. Okay, so putting that in there. So it's just that, like, who is this person? Anything like that. If you've already had tags or label in the system, you can. Just note that when you have it in the Excel file for the tags in here, where is it? You're going to want them to be comma separated. Okay, so comma separated is each different tag in the system. So if you want to label, these leads that already come in with specific tags, you can definitely do that. So I'm just going to do that as tag. I am going to leave all the address stuff out. You would put the birthday again. I can put that in the notes if I want to. You can include the buying timeline on them as well. So this is where I kind of create the title so you guys can see it in that Excel sheet, because here it's telling you. So if you use that example here, it gives you that that brief description so that you know exactly what it may be. You can specify their buying information. So if we go to buying city, so let's just go buying city. You can definitely, then I'll show you where all that stuff goes. Same with the seller stuff. So I'll just show you where that goes as well. It's just more for reference as well. So we're going to put the seller address as well in here just so that you guys can see. The selling address does not, I'm pretty sure, does not go into the spot where you'd be able to print labels. Okay, so that's just something you would just have to copy it over. So now I'm just going to go next. Now, when you're going next, if you guys are on our automatic lead gen system, so automated lead gen, you have an automated website, you can have it so that the system automatically is going to send them an account activation email. So it's that same email that goes out when your leads register on your website. That includes a URL for the website itself, as well as a link. So we'll just do that so you can see what that looks like. So here it'll tell you, thank you for registering. You can email, it looks like, or change this email a little bit as far as what it says. That way you can customize it, check out my new website. Let's just do that. And they don't really have much as far as the notification, that sort of thing. The source as well. So this is where if you have multiple sites, so let's say you have an unbranded automated website, but you also have one of the branded ones as well. Maybe you don't want them going to the unbranded one. You probably maybe want them going to your branded one, right? So you can specify which website the account is being created on. And then you're just, again, going next. Now, you can specify as well who these leads are going to be automatically assigned to. Okay, so obviously, if you have, if they're your database, they're going to be assigned. You're only going to see yourself as the main agent through the lead sharing, things like that. It will be, if you have lead sharing set up, it's just going to kind of throw them into rotation. But most of you, when you're importing a database, they're your leads, you're not sharing them with somebody else. So I'm just going to assign all these ones to, or this one, I should say, to agent locator training, and then you're going to go next. Now, when you come in here and you're adding your leads, you can actually specify certain tags that you want to have automatically added to these leads. So whether they're one of your existing tags that you currently have in the system, as an example, I'll throw the address one on, or you also have that ability to create a tag at that very moment. So you can create this tag, that whatever one you want. So let's just pretend I want to have a tag that is just saying, I don't know, it's going to create a happy tag. And then we'll make the tag, we'll just make it yellow and create that tag. So now it's there, it's selected. Okay. Now, once we've done that, we're just going next again. You can customize notes in here. So if you want to, specific notes to the import, let's say, that you may want to include automatically on the lead, you can definitely do, or all the leads that you're importing, essentially, just as a reference, what it may be for, or just, it's more or less a reference for yourself, right? You can add more than just one note. As you can see, you can add multiple notes. Now, what's also pretty cool is you guys can automatically assign a campaign to these leads at import. Okay, so as soon as they're imported, they're added to one of your campaigns. You would get to specify what campaign. So let me just do this one. No response lead. I'm going to make it so that it assigns to that campaign, and then we're going to go next. And everything. So here it tells you that there's unmapped columns. So if you remember, while we were doing the mapping, I wasn't mapping everything out. I was skipping some. You can definitely go back if you need to and map it. So if you're like, oh, I forgot to map something, and you intended to map everything, you can definitely change it. So here's just giving you that little bit of an overview as to what's exactly going to happen on this import. Now, once you're done, you're just clicking on the import option, and we're going to be able to see the import. So while you're in the import page as well, you can always look up past imports if you wanted to kind of see. This one here, it'll take a second to accomplish or finish it. I'm just going to close this thing out so I lose that, whatever this thing is. Okay, why are you stuck on my screen? Oh, wow, we'll leave it there. All right, so now we can see the progress is done. As you're importing a lead, like a database, it's not gonna just like instant, it kind of just goes in sequence, one. So if you have a really big list, it can take some time for that import to actually fully occur. So now you can see that this lead has been automatically imported into the system. There's the email where I have that AM. Now the email already went out, that account activation email. I obviously have a bad email address here, so it's already indicating to us that we've got a bad email. The tags, these tags, so the money tag and the chocolate were part of the actual Excel sheet. If you recall, the comma separated, and then the exclamation ones were the ones that I chose to add to the lead itself. Now we also have the source automatically created for the lead rather than it being empty, right? So I don't know if so this is an example of an empty source. we wouldn't know where this lead came from, basically, right? So it's always good to have that source on there because you can pull up all your referrals, all your open house leads, whatever it might be at any given time. Now, if we open up the lead and go into some more information on here, we can check out that email that was trying to send to the lead. So there is my little custom message that I added to the email, but it's basically, again, it's just your the link to your website. And basically, if they want to verify their email, they can. Now, one thing to remember, if you are adding people to this and you are a member of a board that we have access to sold listings, so you can actually send sold listings through your system. If you're kind of using this as a promotion, maybe, or like promotional or encouragement for maybe past clients, right? Like, hey, like set up and, you know, check out, sign up to receive sold listings or whatever it is, check out the sold listings. They will need to verify their email because those are protected listings, and it's required that they have either validated a phone number or an email in order to access a sold listing. So that's something that if you're using it for that purpose, that you may want to put in the email itself. Now the campaign. So as you remember, we automatically assigned a specific campaign to a lead, right? So we have the no response campaign that was automatically assigned. If we go here, we can see this is the description. So the description that was included in the Excel sheet. So it's putting it right here. So this is, again, information about this lead that may help you work them, or contact that may help you work them, or recollect exactly who they are. Those are the important notes. And then these are the notes that were added, right? So here, these are notes, has 2 kids. These are different ones that I had created. Again, notes that are comma separated are going to, in your Excel sheet, if they're comma separated, it'll create them as separate notes. So it's not just one big giant note in your system. You could have them all separated if you want to. And then that's the note that I created specifically at the time we were trying to import in there. Now, if we go to the lead data in here, we can see that the home phone was automatically selected in there. And if we go into, I don't think we did any of that, the buyer information. So we put the city, right? So we know that they're looking, we put the buyer information in there. And then the seller information, this is where that address would actually show up on the lead. So there is, you know, there can be a lot of steps involved. But the biggest thing is really just the mapping. Now, what I would encourage for anyone that is doing it is to take a small import first. So don't take, if you guys have thousands of leads, I wouldn't dump them all in at the same time, right? But maybe you have different leads. Maybe you want to just test it and just pick like three contacts and test the import, making sure that you got the mapping correct. And then if you do, one thing that you can also do, so if you're creating specific campaigns for, depending on the source of a lead, for example, you have a campaign for, you know, referrals, you have a campaign for this, campaign for whatever, you may want to import them separately because, again, you can auto assign that campaign at import, right? So it might make more sense to break them down based on source and then import them if that's something that you're looking to do. Now, I know that's, you know, I'm hoping it wasn't confusing for you guys. Did you have any questions on that alone or specifically? No? Okay. All right, so just trying to think of other cool features for you guys that are in here. We've got all those in there. You can add lead types into your system. So again, those lead types, some of you work, you know, if you want to be able to specify your leads on lead type, it's quite simple. It's not overly complicated. It's like any other, if you're creating a source or creating religion, you're just basically adding a new lead type. Where you're using the lead type, again, you can use filters to find specific lead type. So that's where you can see right here, there's a lead type. We didn't include a lead type on this individual. But again, if you wanted to, when you're adding those lead types, they are going to show up. So let's just say if I wanted, you know, buyer pre-con, for example. So it's another way, where'd it go? It's another way for you to be able to filter out your leads. So instead of creating a tag for an investor, but maybe you want to have the lead type differently, just in case you want to be able to use, and you're a big user of tags, you know that you're not utilizing a tag for this. You're actually specifying it through the lead type. So let's take a look. Again, some of this may be redundant for you guys because some of you have recently had training, and some of this stuff is definitely, you know, covered on the training for you guys. Now on here you do have, so, and I believe down at the bottom, you guys, if you have your branded automated sites, so branded automated, not the legacy sites, this is where you can actually update your contact information that's actually presented on the website as well. But they did also add, and this was a little while back, they did add the TikTok in there. So when you are doing the TikTok or any of them, it's the full URL. Okay, it is never just the handle. So I couldn't just put at and then what the handle is, it has to be the full. So if this is something where you have it on your website, then you have, you know, on the branded website, you want to include your TikTok channel on there, you definitely can do that. Or any other, you know, social platform that you may be using as well. These are your notifications. A lot of people don't actually jump into this section, so that's why I'm just pointing it out. They might pay attention to the top portion, or they don't really understand what everything is. The SMS notifications is for when you get that new lead. So right now, you get the email notifications that you've received new leads, right? But maybe you just want SMS, or maybe you want both. So you can definitely modify that to your preferences. Do not touch anything with your phone account. This is your Twilio account. Okay, so if you start playing around, like you can change it from a company to a personal and things like that. But once you kind of touch something, if I was to touch in here, I'm going to mess everything up. Twilio is very protective over this authentication key. And that's why you can't see it. It prevents individuals from hacking into your Twilio basically and using your number. So if ever you are working with Twilio support, don't, the minute you give them the key, they have to create you a new one. They won't keep using that key because now you've basically opened up the threat opportunity. Some of you will see, or you should see, the lead alerts in your system. So this is where you guys get to control how your leads, or how you're getting notified about your leads, right? So if you guys are using Street Match, you know, if you want to get notifications when they unsubscribe, you can definitely get that. And then tasks. So if you guys want a summary, an email in the morning of any tasks that you have created, this is where you would make sure that this is turned on. If you're not getting those reminders, you can toggle this on for yourself. And then you have your alerts. Okay. So this trigger here, it really depends on how you're using it, because you don't want it to be something that you just start overlooking, right? Because once you start overlooking them, then you might overlook the ones that might be a little bit more important, like they viewed the property 3 or more times, things like that, or they liked the listing, right? Because you just keep getting the same notifications and you just think it's the same, and it's not. So this will actually send you a notification anytime a lead becomes active in your website after 4 hours of not being on your website. Okay, so it could be like daily that you're getting that. It could be sometimes twice a day. You notice that, you know, Bob's into your website again. Now you have the option of yes, no, or only select leads. So the only select leads is going to give you an option right below their phone number, essentially, where you just check the little box off. And when you're doing that, what will happen is you get to specify who you want to get those notifications for. So if there's somebody you're really watching in your system. Maybe it's, you know, somebody you're working or potentially you feel like you're that close to converting them. You can then have it so you're notified anytime they come online and they start looking at listings. Now, when you are getting for any of these, for example, you can specify how you want to get notified, whether it's by email, SMS, or both SMS, email. So those are neat ways to stay on top of your leads. Some of you guys like email, some of you prefer SMSs, so you can play around with those. For anyone using Google or using a Google Calendar, whether it's not your primary calendar, because you can sync a Google account with an Outlook account, for example, or 365 account. That way, if it creates an event in Google, it automatically goes into an alternate calendar, or maybe you use an Apple calendar and so on and so forth. Okay. But what the integration allows you to do when you're doing creating an integration, again, you're just creating an account, you click add account, and you would log into your Google account. You're just basically giving it permission. Anytime you create a task on a lead, that task is going to automatically turn into a calendar event in your Google Calendar at the specified day and time you set your task for. And it's also going to include a link into the lead. So I'll actually show you guys what that looks like, because I do have, we use it. So if you guys are currently on our training and your trainers are checking in on you, it is a task in a campaign that we have created, and so we don't forget about it. So here, this is a past event, so you can see here it's a check and call. So if I click it, it's going to give me like whatever I called that task, any notes pertaining to, you know, the details of that task. And again, I can click on it and it's actually going to open up that lead in the CRM system. So it's a great thing if you guys are on the go often. Create tasks for ourselves. The system, well, your Google or your phone will typically send you a push notification letting you know you have an event coming up, right? So regardless of what the event is, so it's a great way where you can also action it from your phone, right? So you get that, you open it, maybe you're, you know, not at your desk and you can click it, you can still reach out to the lead and not forget to do your tasks. This enable castle settings, you have this, you do not need this for the automated websites 100%. They are all opting in and acknowledging communication. They are requesting it and they are accepting. There's a blurb when they're signing up, basically that they are looking, they know that they're going to be communicating, getting listings from you. If you guys have legacy sites, it really depends on how you're using it. Ultimately, the downside of the castle settings is that if you enable this, it's going to just automatically, after I think it's like 6 months, it just stops allowing you to send an email to the person, which can really, even if you've been in regular communication with them. Okay, so that's where I don't, I often encourage people who have that on to maybe take it off, because you might be trying to communicate with them. They're not getting your emails anymore. So out of office settings is great if you are in a team environment. Okay, so if you are getting leads or maybe you have a partner in there, you can specify, you know, when you're leaving and when you're back in the office, and then while you're gone. So if you guys are doing like lead sharing, for example, instead of updating lead sharing, you could, you know, choose who's going to get your leads while you're gone. Okay, so if there's other individuals in your system, so let's say I was leaving tomorrow and I was coming back on Monday, during that time frame, I want Shauna, to take all my leads, right? So that's what the out of office settings is. Most of you guys, you don't need any of this website setting stuff. The CRM settings in here, the blurred data, most of you don't need it, you can have it. It's just if you're ever sharing your system with somebody and you don't want to show the contact information of all your leads. Also, if you're creating videos, we also found the not so easy way on YouTube is that YouTube, even though they're unlisted and we're sending them, a lot of time we're sending them to you guys. So a lot of times we're creating videos for you guys as your check-in videos and sending it to you. only to, they're them pulling it down, because in those videos, there's names and phone numbers because we're in your dashboard. YouTube doesn't like that. So you would want to definitely blur data to prevent any kind of, and I have a feeling that's potentially why my account, that has to only be the only thing I can think of, actually got shut down, because they don't actually tell you why. They just say you're in violation, but I didn't get a warning. Anyone that might be new in here may already have had a description of the pipeline settings in your system. We have made some updates to that. You now have that ability, so when your lead reaches out to you via email, if you want the pipeline status to change to made contact because they did reply to you, you can definitely do that. Okay, so inbound emails would automatically trigger the pipeline to a made contact. If you don't like the fact that your pipeline, for example, moves to make contact when a lead replies to your SMS, you can of course toggle this off. Some people prefer and refer to making contact with someone as actually speaking to them, unless of course the SMS is an extensive conversation. Then they would manually move the pipeline to make contact in that case. So everyone's a little bit different on that. The non-responsive, as you guys have seen in the probably while you're working the system, is going to be automatically triggered. You can make it so of course it doesn't automatically trigger. Then you can specify the number of contact attempts and how, right? So right now the default setting in your guys' system is 10 combined calls and SMSs. It would automatically move your lead to that non-responsive stage. It does not change anything in the system, okay? So the listings don't stop or anything like that. It's really just more of a visual for yourself that you know that you have attempted so many times without any success. So again, you can toggle those as you wish. Some, again, they might say, hey, I don't care how many SMSs I send somebody, but once I make 10 calls, for example, then I want the pipeline to trigger to non-responsive. What's great about this as well is the non-responsive with your pipelines as well. With the pipeline statuses, you are going to have a trigger now for campaigns that you can automatically assign a campaign based on the pipeline. So if you have that unresponsive lead campaign in your system, which many of you or most of you or all of you are likely have it, you can actually have that ability to automatically assign that campaign. So I'm pretty excited that that's going to be a feature soon. So Pal is asking, how would you set up the office settings for someone like myself who is the main admin? So if you are, so there's different ways you can do that, Pal. If you're the main admin and you are, if you're getting leads, it might, if you don't want to specify someone specifically to take those leads, because in this case, you can't select more than one person. Okay, it's either one or the other, or however many you may have in there that you want to do it. If you don't have a sub user, then you would just, you can't obviously do it. In that case, if you are running a team and let's say you are in rotation to get leads, I would just take yourself off rotation. So you would just do that in your lead sharing. So over here on the left-hand side, you guys do have that option to control your lead sharing. And then you just choose the source. So how you're going to set that up, you can add a new lead sharing configuration. So you would select what the source is. So if it's a specific website or, if it's your lead gen site, for example, you can, specify which one it is. So if I want training lead gen, if you were selected, you would likely have it already done. You would just deselect yourself. And so while you're gone, essentially, all the leads where they're getting rotated is going to be different. So lead sharing is a great way if you are a team to equally distribute your leads. You can also use price ranges as well, right? So if you're a larger group, or maybe you have a new agent that's helping you out, and you'd prefer them to work in the beginning with people that aren't searching in super high price points, right? So you can say, okay, these people are getting everything up to $1 million. And you can do it round robin, where it kind of just goes like, in cycle, each person gets a lead and keeps looping around. You can also do in proportional. So proportional is like me saying, as you can see, it's percentile, right? So maybe someone's really great at converting leads and the other one's still developing. Maybe we want the person that's really great at doing it to get a little bit more leads because, they have a higher conversion rate. But round robin is often what a lot of people do. It's obviously not required. You can do it. So let's pretend that the website editor is our new agent. They would get any lead that came in with a price point or searching at listings up to, like, their search is created and it's a maximum of $1 million as the upper price limit. And then of course, when you're adding more price limits, it just kind of goes, right? So you can really specify who gets what listings, things like that. So we would take this one off in this case and then save it. So if you already have yours created in here and you're going out of town, that sort of thing, you would just go over here and edit the lead sharing at that point and, remove yourself for the time being. And then when you come back, you would just add yourself back in. So hopefully that helps. So that's about it for today's session. We did cover a fair bit of things. Is there any lingering questions for the last few minutes that I can answer for anyone? No? All righty. Well, again, I will try to figure out what happened with those address labels. I don't know where they went unless it might have gone in my downloads. I don't think so. Nope. So I will get an answer for that, for the printing the labels. I'm trying to have a video in there for you guys tomorrow. If I'm able to see what exactly happened, I will try on my other computer to see if it's something in here that blocked it. But yeah, so next session, again, if you guys are coming on, it is an open Q&A. Okay, so this is where you get to ask questions about anything. If you're stuck on certain things or a process or how to, configure different things, whether it's CRM or website related, that's what the next session is going to be. So come with your questions. I can't answer questions unless you have some, and I can guarantee if you have questions or struggles or whatever it might be that you're encountering, I guarantee there's going to be more than one person on that webinar that has the same question or would definitely benefit from your question or the answer to your question. But thanks everyone for taking the time today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and we will touch base again next Thursday.